Children's charity Variety, like all organisations of its type, has had to change the way it raises funds in a pandemic year. But it hasn't turned its back on the children it supports and has discovered their needs have changed too.
10-year-old Seth is one of more than 30,000 children who've been helped by Variety over the past 12 months. Seth lives with autism. First, Variety bought him a trike.
I ride it around, but one time I got a bloody nose. It helps me learn to ride a bike.
Then a laptop as part of a special IT grant program to assist hundreds of kids forced into homeschooling during the pandemic.
Variety helped me getting a laptop.
My son cannot read at all. He has learning disorders. We have some apps that we've put on the laptop which are helping Seth start off with the basics.
Variety's an events-based fundraiser, so COVID hit hard, losing $1 million in revenue through cancellations this year. Now it's diversified, starting with investment in new housing projects.
So we're looking at bricks and mortar, if you like, which is obviously far more reliable and consistent than the events-based business. We've done a lottery, which we haven't done before. Thankfully,
it can go ahead with a modified version of its flagship Variety Bash, beginning Saturday on Kangaroo Island, on to Robe, Mount Gambier, Loxton and then Adelaide. With high hopes, people will dig deep to help kids in need.
South Australians are incredibly generous and incredibly kind and have come to the fore before, and I'm sure they'll do it again.
10 News First will take you on the Bash journey thanks to Kennards.
Thank you, Variety. Thank you for my laptop.
Gertie Yatsikovsky for 10 News First.
Still recovering from summer's devastating bushfires, South Australia's Kangaroo Island community has had a welcome visit from a colourful bunch bearing much-needed cash and cheer. Brett Clappis is on the island. Brett, who's ferried into town?
Well, let's see who we've got today, Chris. We've got the Thunderbirds over here, some Cindy Laupers, some middle-aged men in lycra over there working out, even got some surf lifesavers that have ventured over to Kangaroo Island for the South Australian Variety Bash, raising valuable funds and grants for kids in need. Now, it's day one today. They all came over to the island and circled around and got to see some pretty eye-opening things given the fires that had been through here. But that gave them an opportunity to realise how vital these funds are for communities like this.
An elf, a smurf and a chicken walk into a coffee shop. The barista says,
3 cappuccinos for the chicken. Bark, 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 bark.
What's no joke is the value the Variety Bash's arrival has brought to a community that's endured so much. Kangaroo Island's battled drought, bushfires wiped out half the island, COVID decimated tourism, and now concerns hover over seafood and agricultural exports.
We're a really resilient community, but to just have this influx of people, it just lifts the spirit. Like, you can see people walking with smiles.
So we help people throughout the year, and then to be able to enjoy the bash but also give back to communities is fabulous.
And against all odds, organisers managed to get a revised version of the event underway for 2020.
I think psychologically, more than financially, it's been a win for them and a win for us.
This colourful convoy of 300 fundraisers has brought far more than the tens of thousands of dollars it's raised to replace burnt facilities for local children.
These are my favourite things. This one's my favourite because I got a rainbow.
We've been through a lot for the last year, and this is just precious.
100 cars circled the island, a private tour with constant reminders of how stunning, bruised, yet resilient this island is.
We just need to put last summer behind us and need to work towards the future.
Brett Clappis for 10 News First, Kangaroo Island.
Around 100 colourful and classic cars have descended onto Kangaroo Island in South Australia. It's all part of the 2020 Variety Bash.
Yeah, 10 News First, Brett Clappis is there for us this morning. Brett, the bash looks a little different this year.
Yeah, good morning, guys. It certainly does. It's actually the bash that almost didn't occur, as is with the COVID and the restrictions ebbing and flowing this year. They've done really well to get this South Australian Variety Bash underway. We're on the ferry. Welcome to Kangaroo Island off the coast of South Australia, this amazing part of the coastline. Here we've got all the cars playing this amazing game of Tetris with the trucks coming on as well at the moment, and all these bashes raising vital funds for kids in need. They've dropped about $100,000 on this island, and we know what this has been through remember the bushfires, they've had drought, they've dealt with tourism being an issue here because of COVID restrictions. They've had that decimated. And now they've also got big concerns over exports as well, because they're so reliant on seafood as well as agricultural exports. But let's bring in some of the people that really make the difference here. This is Anthony, aka the Hulk. Anthony, you've come to Kangaroo Island, and an island that is in desperate need of help. What's it like to be able to come over here and sort of give out $100,000 in cash?
Look, it feels great. It's vitally important to these communities that we actually do this sort of thing. And part of variety means that we get to come over here, experience the island, a beautiful island, and this money is going to be vital to these communities to be able to get to rebuild and regrow. So it's much needed.
Thank you. Yeah, look, that $100,000, guys, is going towards things like 3 playgrounds on the island which are being rebuilt for the kids. They were burnt down during those fires, and these kids have been through a lot. So to try and create some sort of normality for the people of Kangaroo Island was a big part of bringing the event here. We've got all the bashers up here at the moment. Can you give us a wave over there, guys? There's Spider-Man. He'll try and make sure he doesn't scale down. That's a bit unsafe. Look, so it's bringing in the mayor now, Michael Pengelly, over here. We'll have a chat to him. Michael, can you just tell us what it's like to have a bash like this come through, have all this sort of joy, and they're spreading much more than just financial gains?
Oh, absolutely wonderful. I hope they come back in under 20 years next time. It's been wonderful for the island. It's given a real buzz. It's lifted people's spirits. They've had a bit of fun. These people that are on the bash are fun. So they've passed that on. So it's really good for the island. It's a great buzz.
What does it mean to be able to sort of have this cheer and does it help with the healing process?
Oh, it's great for everybody's mental health, quite frankly. There's a lot of people still very raw and doing it tough, and there will be for some time. So to get involved, to see them on the roads, to talk to the people that are on the bash, and just gives you a real lift.
How is the community going at the moment, and what is needed in the recovery process going forward still? Because it has been quite some time. January was those bushfires, and while we remember it at the time, some people might be struggling to remember just how devastating it was.
Oh, look, it's going to take a number of years, probably up to 10 years to come good, but people are recovering. We've had a wonderful season on the land. That's helped us very much so. We've got visitors coming back to the island, spending money, so we encourage visitors to come. Now that New South Wales has opened up, we encourage them, and Queenslanders and Victorians when they're allowed out of Victoria. We look forward to them coming. So it's all good for Kangaroo Island. It's all good for the state. It's all good for the nation. That's my attitude.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. We'll have to head off. This band of 300 bashers is now making their way to the mainland, back to South Australia, and heading on to other communities that need much needed help. As we have a look over here, we're about to see, I don't know how many people have seen an ice cream truck full of toys backing onto a ferry, but there's certainly plenty of gusto left in this group, and they're moving on, and they're spreading cheer for it wherever they go, guys.
Great stuff, Brad. Really important cause there.
Yeah.
Very confident backward step off the gangway there. I thought it was TV golf for a moment.
The bushfire-ravaged community of Kangaroo Island has received tens of thousands of dollars to help rebuild vital infrastructure for its children. The Variety Bash ferried back to the mainland today, where it hugged the coastline, heading southeast to Robe. Brett Clappers joined the group as it stopped along the way.
Well, here in Wellington, a church group from Murray Bridge has just received a bus to help transport disadvantaged youths of the district. Here for the 2020 Variety Bash, the donations just keep on rolling in. What started in a very worthy community on Kangaroo Island. All aboard for a skillful game of bash card Tetris.
We've had a wonderful time on the island, and we're all decided we're going to come back again and have a good holiday here.
The Variety Bash set sail for its next port of call to spread more generosity. What they left on Kangaroo Island was music to young locals' ears. More than $100,000 to replace one playground destroyed in January's devastating bushfires and build 2 new ones for school communities hit hard.
Happy swinging, happy spinning. What do you reckon?
It will be amazing to see a new playground because I don't know what equipment will be in there, and I love surprises. I think it might be a bit amazing when we first come into the playground.
Just a huge thank you for your generosity and the difference it's made. We can't ever thank you enough, so thank you.
In Stokes Bay, the tiny town gets a new nature play area outside their burnt-out hall.
Our little hall is just a dot on the map. Most people drive past because they don't even know it's there, but it's a place where we gather. We have a tennis club there, our church meets there. We do fireworks and Christmas shows.
Teams will hand out $300,000 this week.
It's all for the kids.
Who are happy to have them back anytime. Brett Clappis for 10 News First.
Today's hot weather made for a scorcher inside some dusty old vehicles as the Variety Bash continues its journey through the state. The colourful convoy travelled through the traditionally cooler southeast region, heading into Mount Gambier. Brett Clappis caught up with some exhausted entrants on day 3.
Perfect weather for ice cream. Thankfully, the trucks pulled over. This was one of the lucky crews that got through unscathed. Others not so fortunate, succumbing to the weather. For good reason, this event is traditionally held in winter, in August, but had to be postponed due to COVID. And as many teams found out, it is not quite as comfortable a ride at this time of year.
A stunning drive with lobster on the menu. And as the bash headed through the southeast, the Mercury started heading north. Cars built for a bygone era got a once-over.
We're good to go.
While the teams got a water level check too.
Gosh, you guys are going to be hot today in those outfits, but stay hydrated, please.
And through what's usually the coolest part of the state, the convoy journeyed through temperatures in the mid-30s. A rest stop for the vehicles.
That'll cool it down.
And the carloads with little to no air conditioning.
Try and get out in the dirt and the dust and see how warm it is out here.
Rather warm, 48.9 degrees here in the commentary box, 100% humidity, but a marvellous day.
Over lunch, they went to great heights to test their fears.
Let's go, Evo, let's go!
And trust.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
They raised vital funds to help troubled teens get on the right path, donating to a police-run adventure park that works with youth groups.
No is a really important and powerful word, and that's something that we want the kids to really understand, that they can say, I don't want to be involved in that, and peer pressure shouldn't be everything.
No obstacle will prevent this bunch from getting money where it's needed most. Brett Clappis for 10 News First.
Variety Bash crews shared a special bond as they parked their wacky personas for 1 minute to honour Remembrance Day. It was a rare occasion for the event, which traditionally doesn't run in November. Brett Clappis is with the crew who've experienced almost 4 seasons in one day.
Well, how quickly the seasons can change for these bashes. Yesterday, scorching its windows down. Today, almost a 20-degree difference. It was grabbing for the windshield wipers in today's stormy conditions as the Variety Bash headed towards the Riverland. Thunderstorms and heavy rainfall did the job of suppressing the dust on the dirt heading out of the southeast district. Now, I want to draw your attention to a pretty special moment these fundraisers got to share. At precisely 11 a.m, teams paused to remember the fallen on Remembrance Day. And it's a one-off. This event's never usually held in November, having been moved from August due to COVID. Now, for a gathering that's known for its jovial antics, it was quite emotional to witness this deeply solemn and powerful moment just emerge during an impromptu pit stop outside a remote hall in a tiny community.
Away from civilisation, yet we can take a moment. It's just almost like an eerie silence.
The silence was frightening.
Yeah, it really made, to me, the day.
As always, it didn't take long for the fun and festivities to get back underway. The journey north ventured almost 500 kilometres from Mount Gambier and into Loxton, where the crews get a rest before dusting off and proudly parading this fleet of fundraisers through Adelaide as it finishes up in Glenelg.
Well, against all odds, a resourceful bunch of fundraisers has successfully completed another Variety Bash in a year of challenge for charities. Brett Clappis is at the finish line in Glenelg, and Brett, they made quite the entrance.
Oh, that they did. Jen, have a look. They've taken over Collie Reserve here at Glenelg. I doubt you'd see a more colourful, diverse and unusual parking lot here at the Bay. They arrived up Anzac Highway this afternoon and were greeted by well-wishers, family, friends and even onlookers. Yeah, I can't help but be drawn to this colourful bunch as they drove through the city today. There are 5 days, 1,700 kilometres they've travelled, 300 of them, but the real figure that counts is how much money, dollar value, they plan to raise for Variety, the children's charity. Before they started the bash, they planned on raising $1 million. I'm told that that is a very real possibility, which would be an incredible feat in this current climate and cap off an amazing year for this bash. And just as they get into a rhythm, another Variety bash draws to an end. They left Loxton, where local footy legend Tony Modra knows well the joy an event like this brings.
There you go. Yes, ride my bike up this hill especially, so going to school, but no, it's good to be back here.
In a year with so many challenges, they still raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for children in need.
The charities all need help and we've got the ability to do it. And so let's get out there and go.
They're being able to give kids a fair go across the state, and it doesn't matter whether it's a pair of shoes because they need to go to a school or whether it's the RFDS plane.
Well, $86,000 we managed to raise all up, but even in a difficult year, it was amazing the generosity of the people.
If you asked me in March or April what the number would be, anything north of zero would have been fantastic.
Restrictions prevented top fundraisers, the Hogs, from leaving Victoria.
Of course, we're disappointed to not be there this year. But anyway, the kids are still the winners.
But it didn't stop the team raising $131,000, despite their home state being locked down for months.
We had fundraised a fair bit of dough before COVID hit. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been giving anything to Variety.
They're banking on the following event in August as their bashing buddies hugged the Murray River towards the finish and on to the long road ahead to next year. And we'd like to thank Kennards Hire for helping support us to be through this journey and allow us to bring you these amazing pictures from these remote parts of this state. Jen, it's been an absolute privilege to share an experience with these guys and just watch and witness the amazing joy that they spread throughout the state.
Thanks, Brett. Yes, and a great result.